lot of women's basketball. You got baseball, softball going on. The men's tennis team, the number 2 overall seed in the nation, and hosting the NCAA tournament round 1 and 2 coming up this weekend on both the men's and women's side. And the latest and just biggest breaking news, when is the press conference where they shoot the fire out of the cannons and walk you into the Farrell Center? Coach Michael Woodson, for the first time ever as the head coach of Baylor men's tennis, joins our show. Coach, thanks for coming on as always.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
When I'm going to go right back to it. I want to know, we've got to do some kind of parade or something. This is awesome. As of 30 minutes ago, the news breaks that you're officially the head coach, no longer the interim. What's your immediate reaction?
I'm just happy to still be here at Baylor. To have the opportunity to serve this great program and to work with these young men day in and day out with the incredible staff that surrounds us all is really special. My family's grown to really love Waco and love being here, and we want to raise our kids here. We're just so excited, that we get to be associated with such an excellent program, like the one we have, as well as the athletic department. Baylor athletics is synonymous with excellence, and that's, exactly where we want to be as a family, and excited to continue to be here moving forward.
Coach, I don't want to speak for you, but I can only assume in the conversations that you and I have had on this show that you weren't, over the course of this season, coaching for your job with that at the forefront of your mind. You've been worried about these players and this team. Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it at all. The idea of, what am I going to do at the end of this year? What's going to happen in the future? We certainly, as parents, we think about making sure that we provide the best possible opportunities for our kids and give them a great experience in life and raise them as best we can. But I think my life experiences have really taught me to, make the most out of each and every day. And an opportunity to lead this program, even for one day, is well worth, however much work needs to be put in. And we're just trying to make the most of it. And, these guys, we're just trying to serve the players as best we can. And we know that will lead to great things for them and for this program.
Like you said, focusing on the players first. And then the news comes, you get that phone call, the conversation, I'm sure, where, hey, head coach, that's on the table. Is it able to set in fully? Because you're in the middle of the postseason now, fighting for a national championship. Can you really take a deep breath and feel the full effect of being the head coach now?
I've tried to just, be the leader of this program as best I can for the whole time. And so, regardless of what my title is, I'm trying to make sure to take care of these young men day in and day out, and do whatever it is needed to get the job done, to give them the best experience possible, to put our athletic department in a position to be successful, whatever that role might be, whether that's, coaching out on the court during a match, or recruiting, or, changing the trash, or painting the rails. Whatever it might be, that's the role that we want to fill here. And that's the type of behavior that we want to model, an example we want to set. And so, haven't really thought about it, anything different. Certainly makes me feel comfortable, especially for my family, that this is where we're going to be for the foreseeable future. We've got work left to be done. And honestly, doesn't ever stop. There's always going to be something that the guys need, whether that's preparing to play on Saturday at 2 p.m. or something in the next 15 minutes. I'm sure it's going to be a need that we need to address, and that's my focus.
Obviously, this is all very recent, so I'm not sure if you've had the chance to reflect on this yet, but I do want to know from your perspective. You take the interim tag away and you become the head coach. Does the pressure change? Do you view the job any different now than you did a day ago?
I really don't. Maybe there's less pressure, just from a contractual standpoint. But I think in general, I'm coaching because I love it. I feel like it's my calling. It's, this is where God, wants me to be and wants my family to be. And this is my purpose and my why, is impacting young lives. And so I don't really feel like there's more pressure or less pressure. I don't look at it as, I'm certainly humbled to be, leading the number 1 ranked team in the country and to be blessed with the opportunity to spend time with such gifted young men day in and day out. but I don't feel pressure because I know that, that God has a plan and that this is where he wants me to be right now. And I'm just enjoying every bit of it.
Coach, you played tennis out at Valpo, Scott Drew, Homer Drew Nation, then coached tennis at Valpo, leaving an entire region to come to Baylor and be an assistant coach. When you made that move, did you have that idea that you would one day be the head coach of the Baylor Bears?
No, I was pretty sure that I wasn't going to be. In my mind, once I started coaching, I thought, I wanted to be a head coach at a Power 5 school by the time I was 30. And that was my goal. I wrote it down. I thought that, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to reach that goal. And, I thought, there's no way that I'm going to be coaching here because, Matt was so successful, had been here, for quite some time and was still, had, I thought, lots of good years left in him, in coaching. I just thought 3 to 5 years and I'll be out of here, and go get a head job. And it wasn't until I arrived here that I realized what Baylor University was all about, what Waco, Texas was all about. We settled in with my family and, just whatever role they would have me in here is something that I would love and cherish. So no, it wasn't in the plans, but I'm certainly very pleased that God planned it this way.
Coach, I know the news just broke publicly about a half hour ago. For you, have you been able to tell the team, meet with the team yet, or get any reaction from those guys?
Yes, we told the team probably 5 minutes before it went out publicly. With a group like this, a last minute thing, trying to get them all together in one place at one time is not easy. But thankfully, COVID testing put them all in one place at one time. So we were able to break the news and let them know. I wanted to make sure that they knew before anybody else.
I will tell you, I ran into a few of those guys at a softball game this past weekend, and it's a rowdy bunch. They've got, when someone yells the word Baylor, you best bet the rest of those tennis guys they're gonna be yelling Bears. I've got to know, what was the celebration like for those guys? Because like I said, they know how to party.
Those guys were excited. I mean, I think it was. There wasn't too much jumping up and down. It was a healthy applause and a lot of hugs. I think we got it on video, so I'm excited to see it afterwards. But I think they're excited, but they also, I don't know if this comes as a huge surprise for them. I feel like they're pleased with everything that's going on here. And I think that was just kind of their vision. We haven't ever talked about it. We haven't ever talked about what's going to happen beyond this year. The guys are focused on making the most out of each day. And I feel like I think it was good news for them. And then we move on.
Coach, I know you've mentioned faith plenty of times before. You talked about culture and being at Baylor. I mean, in the last 5 years for you, married in 2017, coming to Waco, bringing your children, your wife, and now the head coach at Baylor, just the whirlwind of the last 5 years. Does this really feel like the culmination of the hard work and the effort that you put in has paid off?
I feel like it's the hard work of so many other people as well. And just God placing incredible people around me to help me mature and develop both on and off the court, as a coach, as a person. It's just, I tell young people this all the time. It is incredible how much you grow up and change from the ages. I started coaching at 23. So 9 years ago, I saw the world so differently than I do right now. And I thought I knew everything then. And the older you get, the less you know, for sure. Or the more you realize you don't know things. And, I've just been so fortunate. My wife has been an incredible resource for me, coaching, loving me, being my best friend, and just helping me grow up, and develop into the leader that I really want to be. And, my family, I have a family full of coaches and sports people that have groomed, teachers that have groomed me, and all the other staff members that have been around, both at Valpo and here at Baylor, that I wouldn't be where I am without them. And then the players. The players have helped teach me how to teach them. And I think it just doesn't happen without two-way communication and working together day in and day out.
And Coach, before we flip it over to the on the court stuff, because there's plenty going on there for you guys, I want to know from a family standpoint for Vanessa, your wife, when you told her, I'm sure you already have, what was that reaction like?
No, she's really excited. I think for her, it's a bit of a relief. We can, continue work on the house that we're building. And, for her parents live here and they're all just really excited. And, we can look at them and tell them that they're going to be living in Waco for the rest of their lives and feel good about it. So she's really excited. I know, she's very proud of what we've been able to accomplish here. And for me in particular, and, just really excited. Yeah. Especially as a sports person, she gets it. So she's really happy.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you this, that there's a fraternity of Baylor coaches that have been, look at Mike McGraw and Todd Harbor that are they are Baylor and they've always been Baylor, for decades, and exciting to see that, hey, you got another good, 30, 40 years of coaching in you?
Gosh, that's a long time, but I would love to, for me, I feel, I'm young, I feel young. I'm excited for what's to come with this program and, what we can really build here. The previous coaches have done an incredible job of building everything that we have, and the players have laid the foundation, both past and present, but excited to bring in the future players and build this program to the perennial power that it deserves to be.
Coach, on the court and with your season now moving into the postseason, I'll tell you, members of the media, we're supposed to be objective, right? We don't root for anybody. We're just here to support and make sure that everybody has a good time playing. I will tell you, when it came out that you guys had earned the number 2 overall national seed, I couldn't help but be absolutely pumped, because what spectacular bulletin board material, right?
I would be lying if I didn't say that it's hanging in multiple places in the locker room. I'm pleased that the committee decided to give us that little bit of fuel for the fire. To provide that chip on the guy's shoulders. We've kind of played that role the whole year. We started out 15 in the country. We were picked to finish second in the Big 12. Coaches, people around the country, whether it's because of me and the interim role, the transition, the players not having been together, COVID, whatever it is, they've kind of doubted this group, and so I'm really excited that the guys have something else that they can look to, that they have to prove. And they're enjoying every bit of that. So I'm excited just to continue to build on it.
Even still, the reaction, like you said, grateful to be that number 2 overall seed, to be able to host and have a weekend in Waco with these guys for the first 2 rounds. What was the reaction of the team when they found out, hey, in fact, you will be hosting, you're a national seed, and really the target's still on your back?
Yeah, they're excited. They're really excited. They know, that there's so many great teams out there this year. Corpus won their conference. They're 17-4. They're having a fantastic year. Alabama is in, one of the toughest conferences in the country. It has beaten some really, really good teams this year. They're a top 25 program. And Oregon didn't lose a single match at home. Just beat Stanford, who's one of the most talented programs in the country. And so, for us to have those teams here, those guys know that they have to be ready to go. And we're going to have to, put our, anybody's perception that we're the best team in this region aside and go to work, because anyone can come out of here.
At this point, Coach, like you said, you're looking at the field of teams that are coming to Waco. What do you make of this? Is this one of the tougher regions that you look across and say, hey, we really got our work cut out for us?
I'd be hard pressed to find an easy region this year. To be honest, there's so many great teams out there. I don't think anybody would buy it if I said that this was the toughest region out there. There are some, especially given the Big Ten and the way that they seeded the Big Ten teams, there are some regions where there are teams that are top 10 that are playing other top 15 teams in the first round. If they win, they then get to play the host team who's seeded. So there are some tough situations out there that I think, we're envious. We do not envy what they're doing and having to go through. But certainly, when you get Power 5 schools the caliber of Alabama and Oregon, and you get teams that are riding high off of winning their conference. Corpus can come in here, nothing to lose. Their whole women's team is here as well. It's going to be loud, and they're going to play confidently. For us, there's a target on our back, and we're going to have to, prove that we belong in Orlando.
Yeah. This too, Coach, for you guys being the number 1 team in the country in the standings, but number 2 overall when it comes to postseason play. You know, every team that has number 1 going into the postseason has the target on their back. Look at Gonzaga in basketball, college football playoff. That number 1 means that you get the target. Does it feel like, while you're the number 1 team in the country in the rankings, number 2 in the postseason, that target is gone at all?
Yes, I think for sure. You know, people are not talking about Baylor, and I like that. You know, I hope no one talks about us until we're lifting the trophy at the end of the year. You know, and we appreciate that. We can do our thing and focus on ourselves and just go out and enjoy the competition and really, you know, be gritty and feel like we're the hunters. And I think that's going to be the goal for us, no matter who we're playing and what the situation is. We want to make sure that we're proactive, we're courageous, and we're the hunters.
Well, Coach, it starts this weekend. Going Saturday and then Sunday, a chance to continue through this tournament. When you look at the field, what is it going to take to hoist that trophy at the end of this year? What's it going to take to win a national championship when you examine how you're going to have to do it this season?
Well, I think fortunately for us, we have the depth. You know, we have the strength of level at every single spot, both in singles and doubles. It's just going to be a matter of are the guys going to be willing to go for it in the big situations? Are they going to be willing to take risks? Are they going to be willing to continue fighting when they're not having their best day? You know, and when they can't muster up the ability to fight for themselves, that they can fight for the guy to their left and the guy to their right. And if they're willing to love each other more and mean it than the other teams in the country, then we will have a chance at the end. And that's all we can ask for.
Coach, from the player's standpoint, I do want to mention we talked about it the other day, the individuals that are also going to compete in their own respects in national championships, 2 individuals and 1 doubles team. For those guys, how big is it not just for them, but for the program as a whole to have those players land in that spot?
No, we're certainly excited. I think, you know, for us, it's the way that the rankings shake out. We've got a few other guys and maybe another doubles team or 2 that probably deserve to be in there. And but it's you know, I think those guys are winning at other spots and sacrificing for the team, and we really appreciate that. And I know that they're fulfilled in that regard. But I'm excited for, you know, I mean, Adrian Matias, they belong there. For Matias to be seeded, he'll be an All-American automatically. He deserves that. I know Adrian, you know, will not be satisfied until he wins the tournament or plays Matias whatever happens sooner. You know, and to prove that he belongs as an All-American as well, and both of those guys, premier tennis players, you know, in college tennis, and for, you know, I mean, Sven's been an All-American. I think he's widely regarded as one of the best doubles players in the country. He spent a lot of time ranked number 1 nationally. But, you know, so obviously he deserves it. But for Connie to be an All-American, you know, seeded in the NCAAs is a huge deal. And he deserves it. He missed it by 1 spot last year when the season got canceled. They were 11, and they gave All-American status to the top 10. So for him to get in there after everything that he's been through is probably the most meaningful thing for me, for all of those guys.
Coach, last couple of questions for you. I want to know on that front, when you've got players that are competing for individual national championships, how do you, from a player's standpoint and from a coach's standpoint, keep those guys focused on the team game that comes first?
I mean, I think that's a cultural thing. You know, I feel like the guys that, you know, love the team and care about each other the most are going to be more focused on that and understand that all we can control is each day, you know. So if it's a practice day, then we're going to go out, we're going to make the most of that opportunity to practice. If it's a match day, we're going to give everything that we have for the team and try to be better on the day, you know, and improve as an individual and as a team. And when the individuals come, it could be the day after we play in the national championship match, you know, win or lose, and they're going to have to get up and play, you know. And so I think that's probably pretty far off in their minds. At least I hope it is. And, you know, I know they'll be ready for it, but certainly not looking past what's coming here on Saturday.
And Coach, last question for you before we get into our Bear games today, being everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks for you. Big 12 championship, you got to share it, and then you win it outright in Waco. Then you get the head coaching nod, and now you're seeded number 2 overall. I mean, just one after another after another. Have you had a chance to just sit back, take a deep breath, and take it all in?
No, I haven't. To be honest, I mean, when I have a second, I want to make sure that I'm spending time with Vanessa and the kids, and there's certainly no sitting back and taking a deep breath with two little girls. Whether it's playing hide and seek or playing blocks or going for walks and picking flowers, or screaming, whatever comes. I feel like those are the things that we're spending time on. I've had an opportunity to go out on a couple of dates with Vanessa and to be able to, have her parents watch them. Those are the things that I want to spend my time on anyway. And so though I haven't been able to take a deep breath, I know I'm sure it will come at some point during the summer and can enjoy it then, but just, appreciating the ride right now.
And Coach, our Bear Games question today, I want to know what you thought about it. Yesterday's press conference with Nikki Collin being welcomed into the Baylor fraternity of head coaches that Mack Rhoades called the best in the country. I know you got to be there to see her and get to hopefully get to meet her soon if you haven't already. What did you make of her opening remarks?
I was really, really impressed. I usually call it how I see it. So, I'm sure I'm supposed to say that it was really good, but to be honest, I was super impressed with her. She ran and runs in some of the same circles as my stepmom, and my stepmom is the same age as her, played at Valparaiso. Her women's basketball, coached at Louisville right before Nikki got there as an assistant. So they are familiar with each other and my family's familiar with her. And she the closest person that I've had in my life to listening to Nikki is my stepmom, and hearing them, hearing what she had to say, it reminded me of Lisa, and I texted her and just, was so excited about what I was hearing that can't wait to meet Nikki and let her know that she won't, know me obviously, but that I have a connection to her just similarly to like the Drews. And I'm just excited to learn from her and just her humility, in the position, but also her confidence in her craft and how much she cares about her players, and to sit behind the girls and watch how excited they were and how, happy they seemed to be to have her there standing up, representing them. That was really cool. I hope, at some point that I can garner the same respect that she has.
I love it. Coach Woodson, thanks so much for joining the show, and congratulations on being Baylor's 10th head coach in men's tennis history.
Appreciate it, Drake. Thanks for the time, as always.
Absolutely. Again, that's Michael Woodson, the head Baylor tennis coach. Let's go. Got that nod just about a half hour before he came on the show today, where he found out that for sure he would be, for years to come, Baylor's head guy and the number 2 overall seed in the country with a shot at winning a national championship. That kicks off this weekend in Waco, so it starts Saturday. Men's tennis tab, the number 2 overall seed. They're going to play against A&M Corpus Christi in the first round. Corpus Christi is 19-4 overall. They won their conference. They're the 4 seed, Baylor the 1 seed, looking to upset Baylor. And then 2 seed Alabama, 14-11, against 3 seed Oregon, 16-6. The winner of that one will take on the winner of Baylor and A&M Corpus Christi in the championship match that takes place on Sunday. So that's what you got in Baylor tennis going around. The new head coach, Michael Woodson, as well. Big news. I love it. I love it. Michael Woodson, very deserving, and I love having him on the show. Glad that we can have him on the show again.